Good evening. Welcome to Current Affairs. Right to breathe is a fundamental right. So, this is what is said by the Honorable Supreme Court. These firecrackers, this lightning, or the smoking, that really this became a very big harassment to the people. So, all over the country, in fact. So, especially during the religious festivals times or wedding times, it became a very common practice. So, when it comes to this Hindu tradition, Diwali, of course, that comes once in a year. So, during that time, the people will be celebrating. That's a different issue. So, but when it comes to this weddings and other religious festivals, even during those times, also, this. This going for the firecrackers this became a very common phenomenon, and especially if you look at Delhi, this is a very irregular phenomenon, and already there is lots of pollution, and Delhi is the city with the largest pollution in the world, that we know already. So along with that one, so many these firecrackers are being burst, and lots of pollution, and the pollution levels are increasing to the very dangerous levels. And recently also we understood that, so because of this smog, the schools have been closed down in Delhi for a period of time, and Supreme Court made it very clear. So the life of the people is very important. That is, a right to breathe is very important when you compare to religious festivals and the wedding celebrations. And the Supreme Court has given the support to the government, and being the government in Delhi, they have every right to take a decision for protecting the lives of the people. And hopefully this type of ban should be imposed. This type of ban should also be imposed across the country. So maybe in future, so this may be done. So we let's wait very hopefully, so with respect to this. That is number one. So number two, so when it comes to Delhi, this transportation or storing or selling or purchasing of firecrackers is not at all allowed. Clear? And apart from this, if from neighboring states or from some other states, if somebody is trying to smuggle this, that is also considered to be very much illegal, and the people will be punished for that, right? So this is one information I have with me. I'll show you the document, then we'll go to the other area. Look at this. Right to breathe. The apex court ordered blanket ban on the sale of firecrackers in Delhi. According to the apex court, that is the Supreme Court, religious and wedding celebrations take second place to the basic fundamental right to breathe. Sale, purchase, or stocking firecrackers is illegal in Delhi now. Smuggling from other states for use in Delhi and NCR is also illegal. Hopefully it should be extended to other areas also. Anything to certain extent with certain limitations is always good, but otherwise going beyond these limitations is really horrible, especially for the children, women, and also the old people. Taking breath is also becoming a very difficult for the people in Delhi. And the other information what I have with me today is this, with respect to Lokpal. Supreme Court very recently made a very serious comment on the government with respect to its approach to Lokpal. Supreme Court made it very clear that you are trying to reform the economic sectors. You are trying to cleanse the economic sector by demonetizing certain currency notes. But what about the public sectors? So whatever the public life, the people who are present in public life, how do you cleanse them, and when do you cleanse them? Obviously, so this is very important point that every citizen of the country has to think over about this. By cleansing the economic system, by demonetizing, so you are clearing the system so that all the black money will be rooted out. But what about the people who are black? What about the people who are corrupt? And what about the people who are unethical? Right? So, what about these people? You need to do certain things. For this reason only, in so many countries, there is an institution called Ombudsman Institution. Sweden was the first country in the world in the year 1809. 1809, they established an institution called Ombudsman. Slowly, that institution has spread to various countries, and it was also there in United Kingdom. For the first time in India, when Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, she made an attempt to establish an ombudsman in India, and the name, I'm sorry, the name of the institution was Lokpal. So now, most of you, rather every one of you, are very much aware with the concept of this Lokpal. Right, this journey has started in the year 1968, and there were so many futile attempts made by the Parliament of India in order to establish an institution called Lokpal. So many times the bill was introduced. In the beginning, the problem was that this particular institution, if it is established, that will be taking up the cases with respect to the ministers and the secretaries at the union level. So obviously what will happen, you need to have a separate mechanism to take up these cases which are related to corruption. For remaining other cases, you may have some other courts. But when it comes to corruption, in order to cleanse that one, there was a necessity for establishing an institution called Lokpal, and the first attempt was made by Srimati Indira Gandhi. But the problem in that particular bill was that every minister is included except Prime Minister. That is the reason why opposition parties have started questioning, why can't the Prime Minister be included in this Lokpal? Prime Minister is also a minister. Against Prime Minister also there may be accusations, allegations. Why can't the Prime Minister be included in this? So that was the question. But Indira Gandhi did not accept for including the Prime Minister in Lokpal bill. That is the reason why the bill was not cleared, and the bill was lapsed because of the Lok Sabha dissolution. Like this, many times the bill was introduced, and over a period of time, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the Prime Minister of India, that was the first time a Prime Minister accepted that Prime Minister should be coming under the purview of Lokpal. But because of some reasons, again, the bill was not passed. And after that, it was Dr. Manmohan Singh, considered to be Mr. Clean. And that gentleman also accepted that if Lokpal institution be created, Prime Minister should be coming under the ambit of this Lokpal. And of course, 5 plus 5, 10 years have gone, right? So during that time, especially at the end of his term, Dr. Manmohan Singh, so there was some seriousness in the Congress government for establishing an institution called Lokpal, and that seriousness came into the picture. It is because of the movement that was launched by Anna Hazare. Anna Hazare went on for hunger strike, and during that time, entire India came in support of Anna Hazare, and finally, the government has decided to create a bill called Lokpal, and bill has been formulated, and the bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha. It was passed in the Lok Sabha. Of course, there was an attempt to make this Lokpal as a constitutional body, but that particular proposal was not successful, and the required majority was not there. Right? That is the reason why Lokpal could not become a constitutional body. But at the same time, another bill was introduced for making Lokpal a statutory body. And of course, that was passed. Later, it went to Rajya Sabha. It has been referred to Select Committee. And in the year 2013, finally, that bill was accepted by both the houses of the Parliament. both the House of the Parliament, and finally the bill became an act. So once the bill becomes an act, you need to notify in the government gazette, and from that day onwards you need to have the Lokpal. So Lokpal is an institution that will be looking into the corruption cases against the ministers and the secretaries at the higher levels. And of course, everybody in the country is interested to have such a mechanism. Though the government has got its own rules and regulations, they are not considered to be enough to punish such type of people. In order to root out completely the evil of corruption, an institution called Lokpal has to be there. Though the bill was passed, though the bill was signed by the President of India, though Lokpal bill became Lokpal Act, even today also, I don't have an institution called Lokpals. It's because in the year 2014, Lokpal was not established because we had the elections and the government did not show much interest. In the year 2014, there was a change of guard. Dr. Manmohan Singh has been replaced by Narendra Modi. And after he becomes the Prime Minister, there was an expectation that the Lokpal will be created. But unfortunately, Lokpal was not created because of a small logical error. In order to select Lokpal, a 5-member committee has to sit, discuss, and finalize. How many member committee? 5-member committee. Please listen carefully. Right? So 5-member committee has to sit and they have to select who should be appointed as Lokpal. And who are these members out of these 5? First one, the Prime Minister of India, Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Third person is the Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha. LOP, Leader of Opposition. So this is the place where it is getting stuck. What is this? I'll tell you. Number 1 is the Prime Minister. Number 2 is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Number 3 is the Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha. Number 4, Chief Justice of India, CJI. Whoever is the CJI, he will become a part of this panel, 5-member panel. And the 5th one is the distinguished jurist. Who is this distinguished jurist? He is a person with lots of legal exposure and experience in his life. Generally, the senior most are the senior most advocates in Supreme Court. They are considered to be the eminent jurists or distinguished jurists. So when it comes to all the 5 people, there is no problem. But if you look at the third person here, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha. Generally, who will be the Leader of Opposition? First point, that Leader of Opposition should belong to opposition party. Opposition party is any party that is not there in the government. That is called opposition party. Clear? If a political party is there in the government, that is not opposition. Opposition party is a party that is in opposition, not in the government. Am I clear? But there are so many political parties which are in opposition. But when I say Leader of Opposition, that was the first time that came into the picture when the first speaker was there, G.V. Mavalankar. When so many political parties were there in the opposition, who should be recognized as leader, not leaders, Leader of Opposition? Then he said that any political party which gets which gets not less than 10% of the seats in the Lok Sabha. Clear? And there may be 2-3 political parties, or at least 2 political parties which are not getting less than 10% of the total number of the seats in the Lok Sabha. During that time, the largest political party has to be taken into consideration, but it should be minimum 10%. So that was the condition during that time. That was, in fact, that was the order that was issued by, G.V. Mavalankar, the first Speaker of the Lok Sabha. And that continued for a period of time in the year 1977. So there was a law which says that leader of opposition, right, is a person who is the leader for the largest party in the opposition. Clear? Largest party that is there in the government, but largest party in the opposition should be that particular party's person should be recognized as the leader of opposition. So these are the two things that are present in our system. But generally what is said is that it's a general phenomenon. Nowhere it is mentioned that you need to have at least 10% of the members in the Lok Sabha. Nowhere it is mentioned. And who should take the final decision? Decision has to be taken by the speakers. Why the speaker is not taking the decision? Because the speaker belongs to a political party that is there in the government. On just this particular point, there was a delay that is being made by the present government for the appointment of the Lokpal. Entire India is looking towards the government for the appointment of this, this Lokpal. Unfortunately, in the year I am talking about 2013, in 2013 it became an act, and even today also Lokpal institution has not been established and nobody has been appointed as the Lokpal. That's the reason why Supreme Court said that it's not just economic cleansing. You should also cleanse the people who are present in public life. At least now, the government has to understand the importance of this Lokpal. Unlike other courts, Lokpal is an institution that will be looking into the corruption cases of these people at the higher level in a time-bound manner. Clear, you cannot take years together. In a time-bound manner, you will be disposing the cases and the people will be punished. Am I clear? Of course, they are subjected to reviewed by the Supreme Court. That's a different thing. But otherwise, entire India is waiting for the establishment of an institution called Lokpal. Hopefully, as the Prime Minister is doing now, the cleansing in our economic system, the cleansing of this black money, the Prime Minister is also expected to cleanse the people who are corrupt. Hopefully, the government will take a decision very, very, very soon. That's all for today, and I thank you one and all for being with me this Saturday evening. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll again see you on Monday evening with more current affairs. Thank you so much. Take very good care of yourself. Is that okay? And because of any reason, if there is a festival, wedding or something, don't burn crackers. Stay away from firecrackers. Right? I wish you all the very, very best. See you in the next class.